Still love my intro. I still love my intro. I think my intro is just amazing. So thank you guys at Killcliff and ladies who made my intro. Welcome to Beef of the Week, the only show that talks about fights that are hypothetical, both past theoretical fights and future fights that are going to be coming up. My guest today has been a homie for quite a while now. He was in our documentary about helping us discover frauds in the martial arts industry. He is a elite level porn star and a martial arts fan and fighter himself. So I'm going to bring on my homie, Derrick Pierce. What is up, brother? How are you today, my friend?
What's up, boss man? I'm loving life on the West Coast at 7 o'clock in the morning. Thanks. I appreciate that.
So remind me to send you a fruit basket for getting up this early to come on the show. Like edible arrangements?
I'll take it.
Anytime, man. I'll take some strawberry-shaped flowered fruits and vegetables and such. But I appreciate you coming on the show, dude. And I like that shirt. It's a good looking shirt.
Yeah, I figured it was appropriate, and just for anybody wondering, Rob didn't give me this. I bought it. Okay, I bought both of the shirts I have from this man because I support him. So now you can give me stuff because I did a plug. But
so you helped
prior to this,
appreciate
exactly. That's how it works.
And that's support, my friend. That's support. So could you do me a favor and just kind of tell people a little bit about yourself so that way they can kind of get introduced to you and things that you do in the industry and things like that?
This one time at band camp. Not that story. Gosh. Okay. So let's see. I do adult films. I don't know if I call myself a porn star or not. But I always go by adult performer. My idea of a porn star is, just like any other star that you're like, oh my God, you're so-and-so from that thing. And and then they know you, right? So I always say adult performer, but some people do know me and I'm appreciative of that. I've been doing this for more than a decade, which means I'm old as hell. That's one side of things. I also own a indoor boot camp, and I've trained and coached and taught martial arts for the better part of 17 years. I've been extremely fortunate with some of the people that I've been able to work with. I started off in Taekwondo and Hapkido, did a couple years of Judo, did a couple years of Capoeira, got involved with MMA through Benny Urquidez and Gokor. And was training a bunch of their fighters, Manny Gamburian, Carl Parisian, a little bit. We work with Carl here and there, Karn Darbedian, and basically if they were Armenian, I worked with them.
Very specific subsector fighter.
It's just the way it worked out, man. I'm 30 minutes from Glendale. What do you want me to tell you?
I just handle Armenians. That's it. Like I can't deal with others.
I only do Armenians. I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry.
So I had a question. So it's happened like a lot recently, which is kind of cool. Like I'm not gonna lie, I think it's kind of cool. Like nice with the ego every once in a while. But like I'll go places and then people will recognize me now. They'll be like, "Oh, dude, you're from that webpage and shit." And right. They're always really cool. Like everybody, all my interactions have been awesome. Like nobody's been rude or gone out of their way. But like for porn, how does that work? Like if somebody walked up to you, you're being in the adult industry, does somebody walk up and just go, "Dude, I jerked it to you like twice," or like, has there been any weird interactions with fans?
So there's usually a bit of a formula when it comes to male performers, right? Guys will know who you are, and my tattoos are very noticeable, and so there's not a lot of imagination that comes into the activity when they're like, "Are you?" They're like, "No, I've seen that dragon before." So that's usually how that happens. The irony is, most of the times people used to recognize me was when we'd be at pool parties in Vegas, because I have my shirt off, so you see all the tattoos, and they're like, "Oh, you're so and so." One time I was out on a first date and I was on an escalator going up, and there was a dude on the escalator coming down, and he was like, "Derrick Pierce, love your stuff." And the girl I was with was like, "Huh?" And I'm like, I don't know who the hell he was talking to, because I hadn't had the conversation yet about, so this is how I make money. So there's
Are you pretty direct with that, I guess? Like, is that like something that you right off the bat, or just like, "Yo, this is what I do for a living"? I think that
when I was dating, yeah. So the conversation usually goes something along the lines of, "Look, I'm having a great time with you tonight. I'd like to see you again, but I also want to have full disclosure. As much as I don't owe you an explanation, I would like to give one to you, because the worst thing in the world would be is if we happen to move forward and then I meet some of your friends and they're like, do you know what that guy does for a living? And then you find out from them as opposed to me. So I like to control the flow of information. So therefore I go on and divulge portions of it, but I kind of lead them along, right? I don't just go, by the way, I get paid to have sex with a lot of women and a lot of places over a long period of time. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? I can't
imagine you would try to ham it up on purpose.
The irony is I don't really talk about it that much. I mean, you've been out with me in a very social, personal setting.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, at the house and everything. And I don't, it's just me. It's like my friends are blue collar and they're like, you know, hey man, don't forget, you a normal dude just like us. You just have a different job. If they remind me all the time that I'm not special.
Well, that's the kind of people you need. If you don't keep that in check, you turn into like Steven Seagal, and next thing you know, you be him. You don't want to be that dude. No one wants to be a Seagal. That's all I'm saying. Like, yes,
I have many secondhand Seagal stories. Some of the famous ones and some of the not so famous ones.
So before we get into like the meat and potatoes of the show real fast, I just want to say I truly appreciate you coming on, man. I know it's early over there. It means a lot.
Absolutely my pleasure. Absolutely my pleasure. I would do it anytime.
All right. Well, you actually gave me a great blueprint for this week's show. So I want to dig into the very first one, which is our past beef. So our past beef is one everyone who knows martial arts should know. If you've ever been in martial arts, you know this beef has existed, which is Daniel Cormier versus Jon Jones. Let's go and pull up the tail of the tape real fast, and then we'll kind of talk about this. Now, obviously, Daniel Cormier and Jon Jones have already fought, and we've already seen who will win in an MMA match. Luckily about this show is we could talk about any fight. So it could be Jello wrestling for all I care, and we're going to see what we can come up with. So Daniel Cormier, 42 years old. He's 5'11". He weighs 236 pounds. I think they were kind to him on that weight that I looked up. Just saying. I think he might.
Probably. He's had some thicker moments.
So I think he weighs a little more than that. His reach is 72.5 inches. His record, 22 wins and 3 losses. Can we guess where the majority of those losses came from? The other guys.
Aren't they all Jones?
Did they fight 3 times? I only remember twice. Did they fight 3 times?
Who else did he lose to?
I don't know. Maybe they all 3 are from him, but that's super sad if that's the case. But Daniel Cormier, heavy hands, 10 knockouts, 5 submissions. Note, he is powered by cake and chicken, and we'll get to that in a second. There's a reason that is there. Jon Jones, age 34, he's 6'4", 205 pounds, which actually is more heavy now because he's moving up. His record, 26 wins and only 1 loss. A loss, by the way, that was a loss via disqualification because of the 12-6 elbow, and he avenged that in a glorious fashion by wrecking that man later on. And his reach is something of a fluke. This is 84.5 reach. A terrifying reach. That's incredible. That's like another leg coming at you that happens to be attached to his shoulder. And knockout, 6 submissions. And he is, on the other hand, powered by cocaine and Viagra. As we all know, this man loves cocaine, loves his Viagra. A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. He's Popeye.
I think he has a side dish of marijuana too, because isn't it what he ran back to the car for when he hit that pregnant lady? I'm not making it up. Like, he did that.
No, that's real. He had his priorities. You know, he was like,
I am out of here. He's like, I'm out of here. Ah, damn! I left the weed in the trunk. Let me go get that real quick.
I just imagine him like Now this is a very dark comedy, but I just imagine the lady in the car. Help! Please help me. And he's like, hold on 1 second. He runs and gets the weed. I'll be back. And then he just dips and just doesn't come back.
And then blames it on weed brain.
Hey, man, I was high at the time. You know, like, I have my priorities.
Poor guy, man. I mean, not poor guy. He's made his bed so many times. But, I mean, just being poor guy, like, he comes from a family of athletes. Both of his brothers are excellent, amazing football players and stars of their own right. And here comes Jon Jones, who's quite arguably one of the best mixed martial artists in history.
Yeah, for sure.
Period. Right? You could argue that all day long. And they're like, why can't you pull your life together? Like, honestly, like, you're one of the best in the world. You can't pull your shit together.
I have a theory.
What's the theory?
I have a theory about this. So I think, like, it's kind of like the brighter the candle, the shorter the flame, the shorter it's going to last, kind of thing. And so I
Okay.
think like when you get people like this that are such high profile and at such a young age as well, we have to factor in he was one of the youngest,
Yeah.
champions of all time in the UFC. But his superstardom and all that stuff. And I can't sit here and say that he's not responsible for his own actions. Of course he is. He's a grown ass man. Like he's responsible for himself. But at the same time, you got to look at like a lot of those other factors in his life and like when you're the guy, we were talking about ego earlier, right? But when you're the guy, I mean, his ego's got to be through the roof and thinks that he's invincible. And unfortunately, you can take that one or two ways. And DC and John Jones are like the epitome of what that is. Like DC went the opposite direction. Family man, loves his kids, never seemed to truly have any drama in his life, never seems to truly be in the spotlight for anything negative. John Jones, the complete opposite. Like always seems to be in the spotlight for some shit he did wrong, whether it be cocaine and hookers or Viagra or, picograms of steroid supplements, which I mean, I'm not, dude, come on. He was juicing. Like he could sit there and say he wasn't juicing. Bullshit. He was juicing for sure.
Listen, I'm going to tell you for the most part in most sports across the board, except, I don't know, maybe badminton, there's only two kind of athletes, right? Those that are taking steroids and those that are not getting caught taking steroids.
Dude, can you imagine the badminton dude who takes steroids? Like he would be the most noticeable dude on the field. He just walks out.
He just swole as hell. Just like, what you been doing? Oh, I changed my workout. Like, what? What are you talking about? We do badminton, bro. Why are your forearms the size of Popeye? Yeah, the irony of there's the other thought process about guys like Jones, right? Who may or may not have taken performance enhancing paraphernalia, and they have said over time, like, why not just let them all take it and then see where the chips fall, right? Like, why not take the gloves all the way off? Maybe because I have a huge background in fitness, health, and wellness, right? And so there's ways to mask the majority of the things that you can take, like test and the HGH and all these other kind of things. You can test for it, but there's also rhythms and cycles where you can be on off cycle and not get detected. Which just means you didn't get caught at that moment. That's all.
Well,
why not just?
Diaz brother said everybody's on steroids.
Yeah, did he say that? Oh God, I feel terrible now that I said something that one of the Diaz brothers said. That hurts my brain. Stockton just creeped into the front area of my lobe right here.
Well, Daniel Cormier also is on that performance enhancing substances, and I want to bring up this clip because Daniel Cormier definitely has been on performance enhancing substances, and I want to show you which ones. And he was caught in the act, so let's just go ahead and play this clip, and you can see exactly what Daniel Cormier has been juicing on. Let's go ahead and check this out.
Yeah, it's pretty clear, I ain't no size 2, but I can wrestle, and I can throw you, cause I got that boom boom that all the fighters chase.
He better have made a lot of money for this.
This was for it was like the MMA awards that Fighters Inc. magazine does. It's a really good show, man. And so they made that just for this.
Just raise him up, cause every inch of me is perfect from the
He's the poster boy for dad bods. That's just what it is.
For sure. This is what the epitome of a body looks like for a high performing athlete is Daniel Cormier.
I will say one thing: that dude has no neck. Like, there's not a neck there.
Dude, he's thick. He's a thick dude. I'm telling you, that chicken and cake.
How do you grab? Like, there's nothing there. It's either chin or clavicles. Like, there's no neck.
Has he ever been submitted?
I don't think so. And when I actually became a DC fan, it was in Strikeforce when they were doing the was it like the Grand Prix or whatever it was, where they had the round robin style tournament.
Yeah, for sure.
And he like knocked out one dude and then beat another guy, and then he full 360 flipped. What's his name? That big ass white dude. He high crotched him, got a single on him, and rotated that whole man's life. Why can't I not remember that cat's name?
Well, I was actually surprised when DC fought John Jones that he had such a hard time actually taking him down. It was like, it really surprised me. Like, it was almost like it was his personal mission. It was like, it was his goal the entire fight. He's like, I'm getting a takedown, which I think fucked him up for the fight. Because if he would have focused on something else, other than that, the one thing John Jones knows is coming that he probably would have done better. You know, he's got knockout power. Why not just punch him in the face?
The irony is, I think that in my opinion, DC has always been by far the superior wrestler, right, and the superior grappler. But Jones, by far, is the superior athlete, therefore making him much easier to adapt to somebody like DC.
Well,
you know,
which is a question for you. So when I roll this next clip, the question will be, who's the better shit talker? So, like, we already know that DC is not going to beat John Jones in an MMA fight. It's been proven over and over again. So let's try to find other fights in which DC might actually be able to win. So let's roll this clip, and this is their shit talking.
Is this guy going to mess this up again by doing steroids or snorting cocaine or sandblasting prostitutes? What's this guy going to do? What's this guy going to do to mess this up this time?
I beat you after a weekend of cocaine.
And prostitutes.
Back-to-back weekends. Cocaine one, your ass the next. It was great. That's a month for the ages.
That's one hell of a weekend for a millionaire druggie.
Hey.
I just love the fact that they just hate each other so much. This one was telling too right here, though.
Yeah.
Just the fact that they go to the weigh-in, or not even a weigh-in, it's just a press conference.
Are you still there?
This one, I remember this one.
I'm here. I'm here. You're just the fakest person. I actually admire that you can actually be this fake, and like when the TV comes on, how you can just change. It's like you're a chameleon. I wish they would let me next door so I can spit in your fucking face.
You know I would absolutely kill
that.
you if you ever did something like that.
You could never kill me.
Oh, I bet you I could.
Then you should try, John. You really should try, John.
No, I would literally kill you if you spit in my face.
Yeah, let's try that, John.
Literally kill you.
Let's try that, John.
I'm not saying I will fight you. I said I would kill you.
John, do you think? John, do you think I'm just gonna sit there and let you kill me, John?
It's like a 5-year-old argument. Like, you can't kill me. I'm gonna kill you. No, you can't kill me. The teacher will stop you. No, I'm gonna kill you. That's the dumbest argument.
You can't kill me. I'm unkillable. I have superpower.
I have a force field. I have a force field.
But like at the end of the day, we know what happens when DC fights John Jones in an MMA match. We already know how that's going to go. As sad as it is, because it seems like, it kind of feels like the good guy versus the bad guy in a way. It kind of feels that
the bad guy wins every time.
Yeah, the bad guy wins every time. It's like if Joker always kicked Batman's ass is basically what that would be. It's like,
I learned a long time ago from watching Mayweather when Floyd was Pretty Boy Floyd and then he moved to Money Mayweather, that not everybody loves a champion, but everybody hates the heel, boy, and they will tune in every single time to watch them lose.
Yeah, and they'll pay dollars on top of dollars.
They've been waiting to see Mayweather lose for how long? People have been waiting to see Jones lose for how long?
So it's going to be a long wait.
Yeah, it's the irony of it all is really crazy like that. I don't know, man. I'll forever be a DC fan. I think he did change the lay of the land when it came to MMA and the wrestling factor. And I think as far as people go, he's brilliant. I think he's an incredibly smart person.
Great announcer. He's done a good job of transitioning to be the announcer and analyst now, and I think he's done awesome for himself. I do want to ask, though, what competition style, whether it be boxing, MMA, kickboxing, Muay Thai, Lethwei, no matter what, where do you think DC could actually just crush John Jones? And what if they had like one match where you're like, I know DC's going to win this? What would it be?
Grappling, like a Grappler's Quest style, grappling tournament.
Like just wrestling, or are you talking about like jiu-jitsu?
No, I think jiu-jitsu. I think that DC would dominate him. Well, dominate might not be the word. I think DC would show his skills in a ground game fight where he could take away a lot of that reach and not have to worry about getting hit. Obviously, you take away I'd be faster than that car if you put in a smaller motor, take out the suspension, and if you change every element of that vehicle, I'm totally faster than that vehicle. It's that kind of an argument.
So if you just give the other guy just this massive handicap, I got this.
Right. So. That's what it is, though, right? I mean, that's the unfortunate eloquence of John Jones, is that after a weekend of excessively fueled external activities, he can still climb in a ring and the best competitor that is in his division. Not an up-and-comer. The best in his division. The one that nobody else can beat except for him. And he's like, I got this. No problem.
John, you've got a little something, just a little something right here if you could.
Not so much here. Right about here.
So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next one because I've been looking forward to this particular one, which is our fantasy beef, which is Iron Man versus Batman. Because you said you want a DC versus Marvel. I'm all about that. I'm nerd out over this one. So let's go and pull up the tail of the tape here and we can kind of compare. So you got Iron Man. They're both age 48. So 48. They're both 48. Iron Man is 6'1", 225 pounds. This is obviously without the suit. His notes, he's super intelligent dude, and he's got Jarvis, which is a super handy thing to have in your ear all the time. Batman, also 48 years old. He's 6'2", so he's just a little taller, but he loses. It kind of evens out. So Batman might have the reach advantage here, but he's definitely losing in weight with the only weighing 210. And then notes, he was a martial arts expert, is a martial arts expert. He's Batman, and then also he's got Alfred. So if you got Jarvis, he's got Alfred. So they're almost identical just from different worlds. What do you think?
Well, first off, DC can suck it. Okay, let's just start there. DC,
not
DC
Daniel Cormier, but DC Universe.
No, not
right?
Mr. Cormier. DC Universe can suck it. Okay, I can't stand DC Universe. I mean, the comics are okay, but the adaptations have been completely off the wall. It hurts my head to watch the level of ridiculousness that they try to transpose. Okay, so start there. But I think you got to give the edge to Iron Man all day long. He's got tech over Batman, and I don't know. I mean, in the comics, Batman is a real badass martial artist. But every time you've seen the adaptation, he looks kind of corny.
That's because they keep teaching Batman like this crappy like Kessie fighting method crap for their fight choreography. You get a cameraman who's just taking the cameras like, well, he doesn't actually look good fighting. Let's just take the camera and zoom in and zoom out and be real shaky. You'll never know. It's like, bitch, I noticed. I noticed you suck. We got to work on that.
We did, just to have another reference to the adult films. We've done a Batman, and I was Bane. And I destroyed Batman.
Now, destroyed Bat like y'all fought in the movie, or
we fought, and then he was like a crumpled heap in the corner, and then I beat cheeks on two of his little side pieces. So he had to sit there and crumple up on the floor. We've done so many Marvel things. It's wonderfully evil. But, I mean, thinking about the two of them in a legitimate fight, like. I
think straight up, if it's Batman versus Iron Man without the suits, just in any type of hand-to-hand combat, I think Batman's going to win. I think with the suits and they're allowed to pull out all the stops, I think Iron Man's crushing Batman.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. But again, I'm a Marvel guy through and through, and even though Iron Man isn't my favorite, I still pull for him. Comic book Batman is cool, right? Like reading the story and watching the animated series, he's badass, top notch. But then I don't know, just watching the adaptations, I'm like, make it stop, please.
One thing that to note about their, obviously when we pulled up the tail of the tape, they're both 48. So like, these are not two dudes in their prime anymore. You better
watch what you say. You better watch it.
Well, let's go ahead and pull up this. Hold on, where are my show notes? So let's go ahead and pull up this first one here, and it's Iron Man, kind of in his latter years, and I just want you to kind of see what's been going on with Iron Man since he's kind of retired from the MCU. We can kind of check out how Iron Man's doing. Maybe he's gotten a little senile in his older age.
Iron Man lost all of his money too. Like
he is an actual Iron Man.
Yes. Stark Industries is not popping like it used to be.
Well, there's embargoes and trade agreements. There's a lot of politics. What do you do once you lose it all? And he apparently just continues to iron for the sake of justice. I see.
Does that mean Batman turned into Bat Dad? Have you seen those YouTube?
He actually did turn into Bat Dad. Let's go and roll those clips since you bring it up. So
no.
So, he turns into a dad. He's in retirement mode. I get it, but he's still Batman just all the time. So let's go and see what Batman's been up to now that he's retired.
Daddy, I got 2 balls.
I used to have 2 balls.
What happened?
I married your mom.
Netflix is not working.
When I was your age, I had to just stare out the window.
That must have sucked.
Let go of Lucy's tail.
She has a butthole.
My car!
Things in retirement are a little different. Maybe that'll change your mind now that you see how they're living their best life in retirement.
She was like, that must have sucked.
He's got a butthole.
I think it would be way more entertaining to watch the 2 of them fight as senior citizens, trying to remember what gadget did what.
I know the walker has a button here somewhere that does the thing. Oh, damn it, I fell.
I can just see Batman keep trying to find shit on his utility belt. And I go, what are you looking for? He's like, that fucking those bat boomerangs are around here somewhere. I can't find them.
You remember those old commercials? I've fallen, but I can't get up. But they both have Alfred and Jarvis, so you could be like, Jarvis, help! Call an ambulance.
But I've always felt like Alfred looked like a greeter at Walmart to begin with. So
he's like a really high-end British greeter,
He was already in his latter years. It's like, I'm just doing this because I'm retired. That's it.
I can't stand your ass, Batman. I do it for the money.
I'm just here. This Batcave is old and musty.
It's like, there's no way that one dude cleans his entire house. You're going to put that old man through that? You got this giant mansion, you got this old dude, he's 95 years old, looking like the crypt keeper in a suit, and you're going to make him clean your house? What a douche. You're rich. Hire younger people.
And that's a lot of stairs, man.
Just up and down the Batcave all day. And Alfred's always in that damn thing. Does he ever actually do butler shit?
No, of course not. He just holds the title. He's not actually doing it.
It's like, dude, I'm in retirement years, brother. I got people for that. He just chops other people that make sandwiches and shit. So who you got? What's your verdict here? These 2 people get into a fist fight. What happens?
With which 2? Oh, with Batman and Iron Man?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm going Iron Man all day.
Even without the suit?
But now you're putting all these unreliable limits because I got to change. Then he's not Iron Man. Then he's Tony Stark. He's not Iron Man. I'm gonna run with Tony Stark because I think if he's getting his ass kicked, I think he's just gonna do something like this, and then the glove gonna come down, and he's gonna pulsar blast them, and it's gonna be it.
So you're saying he's going to cheat his way to victory? He'd be like, all right, no suits. I fucking lied. Bam! Hits him in the chest with the beam.
It's not a full suit. It's just the glove.
It's the love glove. All right. All right, brother. We'll move on to the next one. This is actually an upcoming fight. This is Yan versus Glover. So let's go and bring up the Yans versus the Glover. Yeah. Going to pull up that table of the tape. Let's see here. On the left, we have Jan Blachowicz. However you say his name. Age 38, height 6'2", 205 pounds, is a reach of 78 inches. By the way, also still impressive that John Jones has an 84-inch reach advantage. That's incredible. He's never going to lose that, I don't think. Record, 28 wins and 8 losses. So, I mean, he does, obviously for an older dude, you're going to have losses on the record. But I'm just impressed that at 38 years old, he's a title holder and just beat Izzy Adesanya, which was crazy to me. Shows how talented this dude is, and it shows how maybe that isn't a weight class for Izzy. But he's won 8 KOs, 9 subs, so that means the majority of his fights go to decision. Majority.
That means he'll grind you out.
Yeah, for sure. And then actually not the majority. I'm sorry. I'm looking here at the numbers, but 8 KOs, 9 subs. Note he did just beat Stylebender. We just talked about that. Glover, my homie, this beautiful Cinderella story about this dude who should clearly be retired already. He winds up going on a tear of I think maybe a 4-fight win streak right now or 3-fight win streak, something like that, to work his way up to now fighting for the title at 41 years old. We were just talking about Batman versus Iron Man fighting when they're old. This is pretty much what's happening here. 6'2", 205 pounds, 76-inch reach. Obviously, he loses that on the card here by 2 inches. A record 32 wins, 7 losses, so also an OG. 18 knockouts. That dude can knock somebody out with 9 submissions. He literally made Anthony Smith spit teeth out during a fight to where Anthony Smith was handing teeth over to the referee mid-fight. That is a hell of a shot.
And Anthony Smith is a tough character, man. Physically, he's such a dominating character. But I mean, you beat Adesanya, and doesn't that up your stock to the umpteenth level? Doesn't that make you like the Bitcoin of MMA?
It's just out of nowhere too. I don't know how many people actually really even gave him a chance. Is he?
How do you give anybody a chance against Stylebender? It's hard, right? It's hard.
Yeah, it's that good. Unprecedented. And what was really odd to me was I just don't. Fighters have their good days and their bad days, right? And when Izzy comes out in a style. He has a very specific style. He'll come out, he'll pump himself up, becoming like an anime character. He came out with his homies. They were all breakdancing right there before he went into the ring. But he didn't really do that when he fought Jan. It was very weird to me that he just kind of didn't do that. And maybe he was in his own head. Maybe he was nervous. Who knows? But it definitely showed in the fight that he just was not prepared that day to beat that fighter at that time.
Yeah, it happens, man. I mean, Michael Jordan misses layups and free throws too. It's not nobody's immune. You know what I mean? Being an MMA champion is like being a motorcycle rider. Those that have gone down and those that will go down.
I mean, that's why I don't ride motorcycles.
I stay on them. But you have to think about it like that. Like when somebody is that good, I don't know, when you see somebody else lose, right, who's not quite as prolific, okay, it doesn't hold the same weight, right? When BJ Penn first got taken down, didn't even lose. The first time he got taken down, I remember sitting and watching it, and everybody lost their mind. They were like, BJ Penn got taken down. And then, of course, that's what happened. And then, of course, then the next thing was then he lost. And then it was a big deal. But when you get a 500 fighter that ends up being a champion through grinding his way up to the top, like Glover, and then if and when they lose, you kind of go, they got beat. It happens. You know what I mean? And so I think with Stylebender, I think it was the people were just whoa, this dude must be on a next level because he beat Adesanya.
Which is not an easy fight, no matter what weight division you're in. Adesanya is a beast, and we were just talking about his knockout power, right, and how hard he hits. And I want to kind of bring up this clip here, and it's of him fighting Anthony Smith and that moment where he's punching him so hard, he's literally making him spit up teeth. So if we can go and roll that clip, it's pretty intimidating for a man of that age to be doing so well against guys who were almost 10 years younger than him. It's crazy. But let's go and roll it.
Anthony Smith hasn't been submitted since 2013.
Literally handing him teeth.
Glover. Sorry, you have to play the job. What? Sorry, play the job. Yeah, it is what it is, buddy.
It's so nice. It's sorry I'm fucking you up. It's just my job.
Take a deep breath.
My teeth are falling out.
Yeah, breathe. Hey, listen, breathe.
So here's what kills me about this particular clip, right? This particular moment. This is when everyone in the industry, there were so many people in the industry, were super pissed because the fight was not stopped by the corner, right? And I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm the corner. I know this guy like that. I would have done what they did because I don't know the fighter. I don't know what he is and is not capable of. But what kills me is people were so mad about this fight, about it not being stopped. But then if you watch Gaethje versus Boogie, what the fuck is that dude's name? Tony Ferguson. Sorry for my mind. For a second.
Okay.
But if you watch Gaethje versus Ferguson, Gaethje hit that dude, and it sounded like he was getting hit by a 2x4 every time he threw a shot. It was landing, and no one seemed to be upset that they didn't stop that fight. And that fight was almost a murder in the ring. So I'm not sure why people got mad about one and not the other.
Well, because I think one much more graphic than the other. You know what I mean? When Justin was teeing off on what's his name? It sounded really, 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 really bad. But nothing negative was happening. Ferguson still was able to come forward. He was still obviously coherent. He actually tends to do better as the fight goes on, even if he's taking mad punishment, right? That's kind of like one of his MOs, is that as he moves forward through the fight, he almost gets reinvigorated somehow, like he gets a damn power up. You know, but when somebody
by getting punched in the face,
I guess, you know, but when somebody gets their teeth knocked out, you're like, you should probably stop. Like maybe just a thought. I don't know. Do you want me to throw this towel in, or how are we doing this? And the dude could be like, dude, I'm good. I don't have my front row of teeth, but I'm good.
Well, it's like with Tony Ferguson, right? Like I can't imagine that he knew his own name or what day it was or where he was after that fight. There's no way he wasn't just kind of drooling, staring off into space on the ride to the hospital, you know? It's like,
you know, you never know. I remember the first time I ever got knocked out. And to say I remember it means I have no recollection of standing and then being on the floor. I only have the recollection of dropping to the floor. And the coolest thing about being knocked out is you don't feel a damn thing.
It's your brain's way of saying, all right, stupid, it's time for me to take over now. We're just going to shut
If you've ever had your nose broken or fingers broken, which you may have had dislocations and stuff like that, it hurts a lot, right? But when you get knocked out, you just go night-night. That's it. That's it. You just, then you get up and you're like, how did I get on the floor? And
where am I?
For me, that was,
who are you?
Yeah, that was the recollection, the recollection. And so, you know, when some people get into that mindset, man, I don't know. But yeah, getting your teeth knocked out is something else. And what I like about Glover is, well, he's a journeyman. And I can't hate on a journeyman. And he's a journeyman who's making it. He's not just a gatekeeper.
Yeah.
And that makes a big difference, right? That to me, in my mind, is like, okay, so if I put in the time, effort, and energy, nobody gave me anything. I had my ups, I had my downs, and now I'm on an upswing, and I've learned so much along the way that whatever I may lack in virility at being 21, I'm making up for experience at 41.
I agree.
And
I think that's important what you just said. And I think that it kind of shows how much of a martial artist he really is he's taking that experience that he has and he's trying to use that to overcome maybe some of his more physical capabilities that he might not be able to do. Because, I mean, fuck, there are dudes who are 21 who are having a hard time doing the same thing that he's doing at 41. But I don't want to take anything away from Jan here. Let's go ahead and bring up.
No, not at all.
I want to go and bring up his actual fight record here of his last 10 fights. And this is super impressive. When I saw this, I was like, oh my God. If we can zoom into this a little bit, these are his last 10 fights. If you notice, out of his last 10 fights, he's only had one loss out of his last 10. Right. He beat Israel Adesanya. He beat Dominic Reyes, who was one of the best fighters to fight against John Jones. Some people even think that Dominic may have even beaten him. I don't agree. Corey Anderson, Ronaldo Souza. If you just look, Luke Rockhold, he's fought. All of these guys are murderers. And what kills me is, to be honest, I didn't even pay this dude much attention until he fought Izzy, to be honest. And he was still a champion at that time. But if you look at the guys he's fought, I mean, he has just put on clinics. I mean, unanimous decision. He's TKO, although he lost that particular one. Decision. Right. I mean, it's just impressive to look at this dude's record and think he was on, out of 10 fights, his last 10 fights, he's won 9 of those. That is just incredible.
But if you think about it in that regard, right, it's not that surprising because I didn't notice his win record before. It's not as surprising that he was on Adesanya type level. Yes, I'm still surprised he beat him, but when you're fighting like demon after demon after demon, and they're all in beast mode right now, and you beat them at the top of their game, it makes a difference, right? Because you're getting seasoned all the way up. And so then when you actually hit the pinnacle of your division, you haven't been hitting softballs. You've been hitting fast pitch 100-mile-an-hour balls, then you're now prepared for the game. So the system of having that ladder system actually works in the favor of the challenger because he's legit fought his whole way up.
Yeah, like look at Glover. Like right now, if Glover wins this particular fight, it's like a made-for-TV movie. Like a dude his age being able to go from like somebody who for a while there was just kind of in limbo. You know, he wasn't really a contender. He was kind of like a gatekeeper kind of fighter. If you fought him and you beat him, then you'd have a good opportunity to move up. And then out of nowhere, it just happens. You know, he just becomes the champion that he's meant to be. I don't know. I think it's cool. At the end of the day, I personally would love to see Glover win. I would love to see that for a lot of reasons. One, his coach is a
Glover
homie.
changed camps. Sorry, did Glover change camps?
No, he's still with John Hackleman.
A couple years. He's always been with John.
Yeah, he's always been with John, to my knowledge, unless he was with somebody else and moved to John. But for as long as I've known him, he's been with, with John Hackleman.
Interesting.
So, and like John Hackleman's is like this beautiful like transition from traditional martial arts to MMA. You know, John Hackleman started off before MMA was a thing, became one of the first real MMA coaches. And then, was able to blend a lot of more traditional martial arts with that. And it kind of shows that he can give his fighters longevity. He's not, like Chuck Liddell is probably one of the most famous MMA fighters of all time. A lot of people know who Chuck is. A lot of people who don't even, he's a recognizable dude. And that was from the pit,
Right.
And now Glover in this later age, maybe there's something in the water over there that helps with longevity. I don't know.
It could be.
But who you got?
I'm rolling with Glover.
Glover?
Yeah, just over 40 club.
You gotta go for the old people's club.
I like him as a stand-up fighter. Not to say he's not good on the ground, but I like him because he actually, for a guy his size, he's not the slickest fighter. He's not John Jones. He's not Adesanya. He's not any of those guys. But when you watch him move, he reminds me of a 50s boxer, right? And he's had hard-nosed training, his hard-nosed training for a number of years, and he's learned through mistake, not because he's gifted. And that to me means way more because that means it sticks with him even more, right? Some athletes, like John Jones, you wonder how good they'll be when their athleticism dies.
Yeah, for sure.
And a guy like Glover is going to be still this good, even if he's not a competitor at 50. He's still going to have all of these skills. They're going to stand, I think, they're going to stand the test of time for him over an extended period of time where other fighters will have a tendency to fall off and not be as sharp because they haven't had to struggle the same way.
For sure. And I think that if Glover winds up winning this, I think that it goes to show that there is something to learning skill. Like it's not just all I am a better athlete than you. You could be just a better martial artist than the other person. If he beats Jan, like I kind of look at this like Jan's record right now as a roulette wheel. Like I fucking love Vegas. Go out to Vegas, I like roulette. I know my odds are bad, right? But they have that monitor above the roulette that tells you like, okay, well, black hit this many times, red hit this many times, and you can kind of see like, oh, well, it's been all red. Maybe it's time to start betting on black because it's been hitting red all the time. So when I'm looking at Jan's record, I'm thinking he's won all these fights, right? Maybe the loss is due. Maybe it's maybe that's what's coming.
I think either way it's going to be knockdown, drag out. Neither one of those guys back up.
For sure. It's going to be a fight.
They're not counter fighters, and they're down to mix it up. And most 205 and heavier guys, they don't – I think – me being over 205, it's very hard to mix it up for a long period of time after a certain weight class, right? Like you get the Mighty Mouse, the 125 and 135 guys, they mix it up for 30 seconds, jump back, mix it up for a minute and a half, jump back, and no problem. But the big dudes, you mix it up for a minute, somebody going down.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it'll be awesome to see this go the distance, though. That's what I want, honestly, guys. I would love just a real, like, close neck and neck fight where there is a decision made and no one's mad about the decision.
Right.
It's like, it was a good fight, but he did inch it out. He does deserve it. And then so that way because again, if you're Jan, he has nothing to lose here. He still will be able to get, especially the shape that he's in. I'm sure if he did lose this, then he'd have a couple more fights and get a shot at the title again. But Glover, he has everything to lose. This will be his last title shot ever, you know?
He is southpaw. And I don't mean standing southpaw like the movie. He is southpaw.
I saw a poster when the Southpaw movie was coming out, and I saw a poster, and the dude was standing in an orthodox stance, and I was like, "Who's your guy? Y'all fucked that up? The movie is called Southpaw. Put the other leg in front. Not rocket science, man." But all right, man. Well, let's go ahead and wrap it up, dude. Let's go ahead and close this on a little bit about what you have going on, what's coming up for you. If you have any projects you want to tell the world, whatever's going on with you, man, just kind of let people know, and also let people know where they can find you and how they can keep up with you.
Gosh, what's going on with me? I'm still shooting adult movies. I don't know how much longer that's going to last. We're moving on to different avenues in my life. We've started a couple other projects. I still would love to be involved in acting and going to continue to do that. The big one is we have our podcast. It's called The Scholar and Sinner. So we're going through formats right now, and we've done 50 shows, but we're going through formats right now, what we like, what we don't like, and and basically it's a real hard look at what it is to be a grown man in today's society, and kind of like barbershop talk without all of the pretentiousness. You know what I mean? It's real. It's real gritty. You know what I mean? We talk about the stuff that most people don't want to talk about. So we have that aspect of it, and we talk about a lot of adult stuff. And I still box. I boxed at Outlaw Boxing in Reseda, and I'm considering getting back into traditional martial arts. I miss it. What inspired me lately to do that is I've been watching your boy Robin Black, right?
Yeah, homie.
And
sure.
And he's co-commentating
Karate Combat.
on the Karate Combat, and I'm really digging it, and it gives me that fever, not necessarily step in the ring. Lord knows I'm way too old for that, but to get back to my roots, right? Because there was a lot of happiness associated with that in those years. And I really feel MMA, unfortunately, is one-dimensional when it comes to that. It's very much a sport, and it doesn't appease the martial artist mindset, right? And so when I get into that traditional aspect of it, to me, that's the win. Being MMA strong is great, and self-defense oriented is awesome. But for me, it's missing a component. And so I really want to get involved back into some form of traditional martial arts.
Yeah, for sure, dude. It's obviously it's a passion of mine, and it is cool to see people like Robin Black or anybody that and they start really kind of succeeding, and I feel like he was a dude that has been a great analyst for a really long time and just trying to find his spot where he fits. He was analyst of the year for Lethaway 2 years ago. And then, now he's working for Karate Combat, which is a very big platform to be an analyst for. So it's cool, man. It's cool to see people succeed that are in your wheelhouse. You want everybody that is in arm's reach, like a homie, to succeed. It feels good,
I want to get a hoodie that says Bink on it. I love it when he sneaks that in there. I'm sure that's his tagline, but I love it. It's Bink. I'm like, hey.
It's the Bink guy.
Yeah.
And then where can people follow you, man? Where can they keep up with you?
The easiest way to keep up with me is on IG. I am an IG whore. It's at Derrick Pierce, DERRICK And yes, I do have an OnlyFans. Judge me. As long as you pay me, you can judge me. I'm fine with that.
So since you said that, I do have to ask one thing. So you saw that OnlyFans was like, yeah, we're not going to do porn anymore. And then literally, what was it? A week later, they were like, never mind, we're going to keep doing porn.
Let me real quick, and then we'll wrap it up. Let me just give you a little history on OnlyFans. OnlyFans is owned by a company called MFC, My Free Cams. My Free Cams is the biggest cam company in the world. They damn near print money. That's how much money they make. They spend on average $3 to $5 million in advertising just for My Free Cams. They put more money into the AVN show than any other company out there. That being said, they bought OnlyFans approximately 3-4 years ago, and their platform is now essentially a multi-million dollar, if not $1 billion platform at this time. They've always wanted to go mainstream. They've never wanted adult content, but sex is where the money's at, so that's where they stayed. I was not surprised that they were like, listen, we about to get real Disney with this over here, so all you people don't have to kick rocks. You know, they only need one megastar, Dwayne Johnson or Beyonce or whatever, to make up the difference for what they would lose on half of the adult industry. Don't be surprised. You know, we built so many platforms and so much technology on the backs of what we do out of necessity, and then they 86 us when they're done. It's a whore mentality, and I expected it, and I'm not surprised. So, you know, they're going to get rid of us. They're just going to use a lot more excuses, but I don't blame them for doing it. You know, cash is king. What are you going to do about it?
It is what it is, man. Well, I appreciate your take on that for sure, because I mean, you are in the industry, and I think it does something that applies to you, and I think that it's important for people to know what's going on. But I end this show with something I call the Marshall moment, right? And so I actually found your Marshall moment, but I think it's important that I preface your Marshall moment with this clip so people kind of know what your Marshall moment was. So if we can just go and roll this promo clip, so people can kind of have an idea of what your Marshall.
I think I already know what it is.
Are you sure? You might.
Battle Bang. See the toughest guys in porn battle it out. The winner bangs a super sexy prize. The loser gets the punishment.
Oh, man. Oh, that's awful.
Battle Bang. Real cage fighting for Poontang.
Well, it's funny because like I discovered this before I knew you were in it. So like I already knew, like I had been talking to you for years, but like I already knew that you were in the industry and shit like that. But I didn't know you actually participated in this. And then when I posted it, you were like, I was in that. I was like, you know what? And so I actually that is your Marshall moment. So let's go and roll your Marshall moment.
God.
Derrick Pierce, out of Los Angeles, California, with a fighting style of judo and boxing. He's 6 foot, 200 pounds.
Ready? You ready? Let's bang.
God, it's so old.
Oh yeah, it's super old.
Tyler Knight, he's like a purple belt.
Yeah,
like
I think he's out of Jacksonville, to be honest, because I keep recognizing this dude, and I think he still fights today.
Yeah.
He didn't win this one.
This is when I was still rolling with Karin and all those guys.
Yeah. And the switch to the body triangle there.
Yeah. Not bad for a guy who don't have a real grappling background.
But you know, like I kept seeing all these like really close submission attempts. So you had like that great pass to rear naked choke. Then you had like the the guillotine.
Double flying.
I thought that was a pretty funny one. Like he just shot in, you were able to get him. This is also good timing as well.
Spinning back kick by Derrick.
Almost right in the face, son.
Round 1 and round 2, the final decision.
Yeah, I won that, but I hurt my knee pretty bad.